Coming to the webinar, so getting to the content of the presentation, we will be beginning with a brief introduction to connection design, after which we'll be taking a look at the role the connections play in a structure. Then we'll go through the types of connection most likely to be encountered while designing industrial structures. Then we will have a brief explanation regarding the shear and moment connections and salient features of the same, and also its detailing requirements. After which we'll take a look at the load path for these connections so that we get an idea about which component needs to be designed for what kind of forces. Then we'll take a look at pinned and fixed base plates, the difference between the two, the salient features of the two, the impact each base plate has on the structure and the foundation. And at the last, we'll be discussing the career opportunities that are available in the field of connection design. What is a steel structure? A steel structure is basically just an assembly of components components like beams, columns, and bracings that are fastened together. This ensures that this structure behaves as one single unit. So basically the connections are the glue which holds the structure together. This fastening of members together can be done either via bolting or welding or a combination of both. A combination of both will classify these connections as composite connections, which is actually a very promising field of research nowadays. When designing connections for Indian context, the codes that will most likely be used are IS 800, which is the design code for steel structures, IS 1364, which is the code for the connection bolts. IS 1367 caters to the supply conditions of these bolts that a supplier has to adhere to, and IS 814 is a code which will be applicable to the welded connections for selection of the electrodes. Moving forward, let us take a look at the role the connections play in a structure. The main function of the connection is to safely transfer the loads between members. Right? For a beam column junction, the forces from the beam have to be safely transferred to the column and from column to the foundation. The emphasis on the word safely transferred is there because a failure of a connection will always be a brittle failure. We will not have much warning before the connection fails. So that is why this connection design is one of the most important components in the field of structural design. The next is that a structure of 20 meters height. So we would require a column of 20-meter height, but in the market, the available section sizes would be for the length of 12 meters. So we will need to connect another 8-meter piece to it. This connection and increasing the length of the members can be done with the help of the connections. And for the example we just considered, the splice connections would be used to achieve the purpose. And the last, they make sure that the structure behaves as a single unit. A structure has both lateral load resisting systems and vertical load resisting system. It is because of the connections and its intended behavior that the structure behaves as per the systems that are conceptualized by the designer. Moving forward to the types of connections, there are many ways to classify the connections, and one of the ways is to classify them according to the forces which they are designed to resist. So we have 4 types here: the shear connections, which will resist just the shear force; the moment connections, which will resist both the shear and the moments. Third is the compression connections. The major force resisted by them is compression. Its examples include column splices, base plates, etc. And then we have the tension connections, whose primary purpose is to resist tensions. Any sort of hangers or truss ties will fall under the aegis of tension connections. Now, let us begin with the explanation of shear and moment connections. And we shall begin with 2 of the diagrams which we have become familiarized with throughout the course of our academics. That is of a simply supported beam and that of a fixed beam. So when a simply supported beam is subjected to a load at the center, the deflected shape of the simply supported beam will be as follows. Please observe the fact that the deflection starts immediately after the joint, and the deflected shape starts immediately from the joint, and it stays so till the other joint also. Coming to the fixed beam, when a load is applied at the center, the deflected shape will be like. Please observe with respect to simply supported beam that the deflected shape does not start immediately after the connection joint. It starts becoming prominent at a certain distance from the connected joint. So what this means is that the connection joint rotates for a simply supported beam and it does not rotate for a fixed beam. So the main difference between the shear connection and a moment connection is their ability to resist rotation. A moment connection will be able to resist rotation and a simply supported or a shear connection will not be able to do so. So the terminology for shear and moment connection is just an industrial terminology where shear connection means the simply supported connection and a moment connection means a fixed support. So I hope that bridges the gap between the academic and the industrial terminology for the same. Let us look at a typical behavior of the connections under loading. On screen, you have a beam column junction and it is a shear connection. When this connection is subjected to moment or any sort of loading which tends to rotate it, it will rotate substantially and it has no resistance to that moment. Here in the picture, you can see that it rotates by the extent of phi. So this is a shear connection which does not have any resistance to rotation. When we come to the moment connection, here you can see that under the action of loading, at the beam column junction, the deflected shape is not that prominent. To a certain extent, the beam remains straight, and then the deflected shape starts becoming prominent. So this is the silent feature of the moment connection, that under the action of loading, it does not allow the joint to rotate. Coming to the next part, which is the load resisting elements of an I-beam. We need to understand the purpose of each element that forms our structural section. Why have we selected an I-beam here? I-beam is the most widely used structural section for the industrial structures. It is composed of three components. The vertical component is called the web, and the two horizontal components sandwiching the vertical component are called as flanges. Now let us look at the function of each component. The web is the primary shear resisting element in the I-beam. To resist the shear, it is the responsibility of the web in an I section. And the function of the flanges is to resist the moments. So in the I section, the shear resistance will always be obtained by the web, and the moment resistance will be obtained by the flanges. So when someone asks us to design a shear connection or to design a moment connection, the knowledge of the load resisting elements of any structural section will help us detail the connection. So if you want to realize a shear connection on site, the way to proceed is that we connect just the web and the web only to the supporting element. If it's a beam column junction, the supporting element would be a column. So for a shear connection at a beam column junction, the web of the beam has to be connected to the column and nothing else. For a moment connection, if we want to realize a moment connection that transfers both the shear force and the moment, the flanges of the I section have to be connected to the column to transfer the moment, and the web has to be connected to the column to transfer the shear. So for moment connection, it is very important to connect the flanges to the column. So now, as we have seen that, let us proceed with some examples of the shear connections. Here we can see one single angle shear connection here is the beam is connected to a single angle connection via bolts, and the same single angle connection is connected to the column with the help of the bolts. The connection is named so because of the connecting element. This single angle is the connecting link between the beams and the column. So that is why this connection is named as a single angle connection. This is another example of a shear connection. It is called a double angle shear connection. The concept is the same. Instead of a single angle used in the first example, here we use two angles on either side of the beam web. Coming to the third example, this is called a single plate shear connection. This plate is bolted to the beam web and it is welded to the column. Here you need to observe that in the third example, that there is a visible gap between the flanges of the beam and that of the column. There is no connecting link provided between them. This feature itself tells us that this is a shear connection which is intended to resist just the shear forces, and no moment resistance can be expected from this connection. The flanges will in no case be connected to the column in a shear connection. Now, to better understand the connecting elements, we have this image on the screen here. In this image, the shape marked in green is the beam. The shape marked in blue is the column. The beam is supported on the column with help of the connecting elements. The connecting element is marked in yellow here, and the red line indicates the bolt. So as in previous slide, the first example we saw was that of a single angle connection. Here you can see that the beam web, one of the leg of the angle is connected to the beam and bolted together, and one of the leg of the angle is connected to the column with the help of bolting. So this mechanism completes the shear connection. Coming to the second type of connection, we can see that instead of angle on just one side of the web, we have angles on both the sides of the web. So the number of bolt lines on the column will be 2 here. Then the third example which we saw was that of a single plate connection, where the connecting element is bolted to the beam web and welded to the column. And the last type is not very widely used, but this has been kept here just to give you an idea that that you can be creative when you design the connection. You can use different sorts of connecting elements here. So a T shape has been used, which acts similar to a double angle connection, but a T shape has been used here. Let us take a look at the moment connections. Here on screen you have an example of a typical moment connection. Compared to the shear connection, please notice here that the flanges are welded to the column. The flanges have been connected to the column. So this aspect gives the connection the capability to resist the moment. The shear resisting ability has also been invoked because the web has been connected, but the salient feature of the moment connection is always going to be connection of the flanges to the column. This is a welded moment connection and bolted single plate. So a combination of both welds and bolts is used here. So this falls in the category of the composite connections. Here we see another example of a moment connection. It is called an end plate moment connection. In line with the salient feature of the moment connection, we can see here that the flanges of the I-beam have been connected to the end plate, and the end plate is then in turn bolted to the column. Please observe the location of the bolts. They are kept outside the flanges of the beam. The increase in distance between the bolts gives the connection a higher capacity to resist the moment, as the lever arm to resist the moment increases with the distance between the bolts. This connection is called as a end plate moment connection. Here you can see that we are showing you all the different types of connections and all the different ways in which these connections are conceptualized, but the concept remains the same. The flanges of the beam need to have a rigid connection with the column. In this connection, this is done with the help of flange plates. You can see that the flange plates that are welded to the column are bolted to the beam flanges here, and as usual, to resist shear, we have connected the web of the beam to that of the column. So you can use any sort of method, but the concept for moment connection will remain that you need to provide some rigid connection between the beam flange and the column, and that for the shear connection, it remains that you need to connect the web of the beam to the column. Here you can see that in the image on the right, there is a triangle near the beam column junction, which increases the depth of the beam just at the connecting junction. What is that? That triangle is called as a haunch, and its purpose is that it increases the depth of the connection just at the connection junction. If you observe these 4 bolts, the distance between the first and the last bolt has been increased substantially because of the provision of this haunch. This helps us in increasing the moment capacity of the connection by reducing the forces that will be coming on the bolts due to the moments. So now that we have a brief idea about the shear and moment connections, let us summarize what we have seen till now. So for shear connections, the features of the shear connection are that they will transfer only the shear forces and nothing else. The joint of the shear connection will rotate under the application of moment. This connection can be realized by connecting the web to the supporting element. This is the important part for a shear connection. For a moment connection, it will transfer both the shear force and the moments. The joint will in no case rotate under the application of forces. The resistance to rotation provides the moment connection with its ability to resist the moments. The moment connection can be realized by connecting the flanges and also the web to the supporting element. So the main difference and the detailing requirement of the both are clear. Now that we have cleared the detailing requirements and the concept of the shear and moment connection, let us go through the load path for both. Here we have the image which we saw on the previous slides, that of a single angle moment connection. Here you can see that we have total of 4 bolt rows, 2 of them which are bolted to the web of the beam and 2 which are bolted to the column. So from the structural member, which is the beam, the load will first be going to the bolts here, and the bolts will in turn transfer that load to the connecting element, which is the single angle in this case. And the connecting element will then transfer the forces to the bolts which are connected to the column, these bolts.